Yeah.
What's your topic?
Gambling. Aaron and I went to Las Vegas for the second time in 6 or 7 months. She and I went. And what I find, she really likes going to Vegas, and I like Vegas too for different reasons. Like I like just being in casinos. I'd gamble every once in a while, but I like just being there. I like smoking. I chain smoke like you wouldn't even fucking believe when I'm in a casino. Just constantly smoking, always. And what I realized the last 2 times I had went, is I've always kind of been into gambling in a very minor sense. Like I play when Nate still lived here, Nate Ahern. We used to play
poker nights.
We did poker nights like every other week, every 3 weeks for years. So like
I was never invited.
Of course you weren't. But those were low stake games, $20 each. You'd win $200 if you won or something like that. It's nothing to really lose. We did fantasy movie league. We bet $100. Which
we all lost.
Yeah, of course. The most serious gambling I do is in that fantasy football league with my uncle and his friends, where you can lose a lot of money, but no more than usually like $500 or something like that. And you can win an asinine amount of money in the league, like $5,000. So, but I kind of like have started to pay closer attention to gambling culture the last 2 times I'd gone there and like what it is to gamble. And I got lost at a blackjack table myself one night 2 nights actually, but one night for like a long time. And realized that, man, I get it now, you know, like, I got it in such a way where I'm like, I can't do this anymore actually, because
oh really?
It's not even that I'm trying to win. It's that I'm trying not to lose. So I'm never worried about like losing thousands of dollars. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
It's just the constant exercise and anxiety. You're like, God damn it, I don't want to lose $5 again.
So Aaron and I were sitting at like the $15 blackjack table both nights, like one of them, which was like, we were staying at the Venetian. And that's like really the lowest you can possibly play for. Other places you can play for like $10, maybe even less. But people play for $25 a hand, $50 a hand, $100 a hand. So we're not playing at those tables. Like I'm playing literally with $100 to begin with. So I can play 6.5 times or so,
right,
without winning, and then I bust. And I really found it to be an amazing experience. Now, Aaron's like really good at blackjack, and what I realized was that this game, first of all, takes actually quite a bit of skill, and second of all, everyone knows how to play. Everyone knows like what the idea is to get 21 or get as close to 20 as possible, but it is so much deeper than that.
Yeah,
and like I learned that through her and through like you're sitting at like tables where like no one really serious is playing, so the dealers are like very friendly and they'll like help you and be like I'll ask them over and I'm like, what does the book say? You know, like. You're showing an 8, I have 14. They're like, you assume I have a 10, you should hit. You know, like over and over again. I learned like all of this random shit that I can't believe I didn't know about blackjack. Like I always thought that the blackjack dealer was playing the hand, but they're like, no, the blackjack dealer plays until he hits 17.
Yeah.
That's it.
He has to stop.
And I'm like, I didn't know that. I thought that they were like trying to take your money. They're like, no, actually the blackjack dealer is like totally ambivalent. Like it doesn't matter. The blackjack dealer is like one of the few dealers that doesn't really give a fuck if you win or lose. They want you to win because you're tipping them. So like it's
right.
So I was like, oh, it's very interesting. So so there's a few cool aspects that I learned about gambling in Vegas that I never really experienced before when Aaron and I were there, and I'm kind of thankful to her that she introduced me to this kind of stuff, which is like there's an interesting camaraderie at a table, especially when you sit there for hours and hours, where you meet people are coming and going, people are busting and making a shit ton of money, you know, like all around you. We sat with this guy named Mark, who from the East Coast, who was just there for the UFC fights. And cool. He sat with us for like 5 hours. We just got to get to know the guy. We're ordering drinks. I'm chain smoking Black and Milds. I can't like barely breathe the next day. I was chain smoking so many Black and Milds. God bless. And then I just smoked cigarettes in between. I had a cigar. I just lit that up at some point.
Cool off a Black and Milds.
It was like just serving. I had a beer and a bourbon in front of me at all times, or like just. And so like I liked kind of the relationships I was making with these people just coming and going. Like you're just getting little glimpses into their lives, and then they disappear. This woman sits down at the table. Her husband's like nervously standing behind her. Every time she wins like more than $25, he takes it and puts it in his pocket to like try to make the money back that they're making. These 2 girls sat next to us on like either side of us, and like we're using all their money, and they ran out of money and like couldn't even get a cab to like go to the airport. There was like a woman. And this is like kind of some of the shit that I was like, where I'm like, this doesn't seem cool. Where there's like this blonde girl sits down at the edge of the table, playing very friendly, very nice, but clearly drunk, like clearly very drunk. Just kept putting $100 bills on the table, kept busting over and over again. And I'm like, at some point, is someone going to fucking say maybe we shouldn't be taking this woman's money? But lo and behold, they don't give a flying fuck. Like they'll just take all your money off. That's Vegas. I mean, you have to have some personal responsibility. Nonetheless, the best story of the second night was this big drunk guy with like a tray of chips. more than everyone else at the table had on them. We probably had maybe $600 or $700 combined between like 6 players. Like no one had any money. We were just playing for fun. This guy comes up. He probably has $1,000 or more. Takes half of his. He takes half of him, just puts it in first position, plays a game, loses, busts. Then takes the other half, puts it down, wins, and then just puts all of his chips back and walks away from the table. And never see that guy again. I saw that guy for a minute and a half, lose all of his money, then win all of his money back, and then he went to bed presumably or something like that. I'm like, there's like all these.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's looking for the table. It's hot. Yeah.
All these. It's like so, and his friends were being like, "Come on, man!" Like he was totally bombed, and they were like not helping him really at all. And I just kind of like dug the vibe, you know, like of like as long as you're not getting too deep into it. I lost like $300 over the weekend. Yeah, not really a big deal, right? There are people that are losing that left, right, and center on one hand. They're losing that in a fraction of a hand. I mean, I've heard stories of people losing asinine amounts of money, like unheard of amounts of money, tens of thousands of dollars. You know, at like people that you know, like well, not what we would know, but people like in their life, like are losing everything.
Oh no, yeah, famously you hear like famous people that have a lot of money and have a gambling problem. That's how they lose it all.
Yeah. Right? But that was the first time in me where I'm like, I never understood like why, you know? And then I was like, but as long as you keep it under in check, I'm not trying to win. That's like really not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just survive long enough to have fun, long enough to meet people and smoke and drink for free. You're drinking for free. You know, like you can drink all night basically for free, just giving them little tips, you building camaraderie, people around you and stuff like that. And I'm like, I like this. This is fun. As long as I keep it in check, I don't give a fuck if I win $200 a night. The cost of doing business or sitting at this table for 5 hours, you know, like not really a big deal. You sit out a few hands. If you're losing, you kind of get a read for the table. I enjoyed it. So I was curious, like what you guys think of like of gambling in general, because like I play fantasy football and that is technically gambling as well, or just gambling in Vegas. And if you guys get into that and what game you play and what you enjoy, because I really got to give it up to Erin because she really introduced me to Blackjack. I thought that was a simple game that everyone understood and was easy to play, and it is not. It is apparently a low return game. Yeah, it's but it is a safe game and a fun game, and I liked it. And like when you hit 21, when they I'm like, or when you split, like I split a card, like I got 2 6s, I split them, and then I got another 6 and I split that, and then I scored like 2 aces and a queen, and they had like a three show or whatever, and I won like fucking like in one hand like $70. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah, you know, like you feel that exhilaration, but then like that low as well when you lose all your money and you eventually bust. But then I got to be honest with you, at the end of the night we were there 4 or 5 in the morning. I was like I'm ready to bust. Like I put all my shit like $50 left of chips. I was like I'm just gonna play them all. I gotta go to bed. You know, so like I wasn't even like trying.
You could have left with the money.
I know, but it was just like, you know what, like whatever. Let's see what happens. If I double up, then I get some of my money back, and no, like it's really not the end of the world. Whatever. So what I'm saying is, I get it. And I enjoyed it. So I want to hear your guys' stories.
I wish I got it more. I like Blackjack fine. I had a similar experience in St. Louis at a bachelor party on the riverboat down there, where I sat down at a good table, and it was one where the guy next to me saw me struggling and then started like coaching me. I think actually it started when he got mad at me for taking his card. Yeah. It was something where I shouldn't have hit on what I hit on, but I wanted to hit. And then that was the card he needed. And he was like, what the fuck, man? And then he's like, so he explained it. And like, there was one point where I'm like, and this is like St. Louis or whatever. And it's like, again, like a $5 table where I'm like, all right, hit. And then he goes, no, you don't want to hit on that. And like, she started to give me the card, like it was already down. She's like, do you want me to take it back? I'm like, yeah. And so like, it was like to that thing. And like, I walked away with $50 and I thought that was awesome. You know what I mean? For not doing it. But the time to commit to learn it, to be good at it and stuff, because it is intimidating to sit down at some tables, because you're not always going to get like a group that wants to help you learn or play with you. It is that they're serious, and they will get mad if you fuck up what what they're doing and all these other stuff.
Yeah, sitting in the first position apparently is the worst place to sit in Blackjack, because you can fuck everyone at the table.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. When we go, for Vegas, I'll never forget when Brudvig and I went to Vegas for the first time it was a Warner Brothers event where they were showing 1 million games. It's where they revealed DC versus Mortal Kombat. Okay. And I think you were there. I touched you because I think we were doing something there.
When Amy Doe was there too?
No, because that was UFC and that wasn't a Warner Brothers game. So maybe I'm completely wrong.
I tortured that poor girl.
I know you did. I remember. That was my first real memory of you, where she walked away all in a huff, and I'm like, why did you do it? And you're like, just cause. I'm like, damn, Nick, Mr. Scarpino.
They all die. She used to mess with me a lot too.
No, she didn't. That's a
lot
totally
of give and take there.
So, but I remember being there and Brudvig doing that thing where I'm gonna play this. It was like he's gonna play penny slots or whatever the hell it was, and I just remember like it was like the first 6 months at IGN, I'm like, well, I'm so broke. There's no way for me to afford to play, to get a drink. I'm going to go to bed. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do it. And so when we've been back there, whether it's PSX in 2014, or I was just there not too long ago with Poe. Poe was doing a conference there. And both of those times it was like, I'm walking through and I have the money to spend now, but I don't want to sit down for a blackjack because I've forgotten everything I learned from that trip or whatever. And then I look for a slot machine that would be comical if I won. So the Britney Spears, the Ghostbusters, you know what I mean? Like something that would have a connection where I'm like, it would be awesome to sit down and put in $5 and win like the jackpot on the Ghostbusters machine. But like, that's, rad. Doesn't happen, of course. I always walk away with that
Ghostbusters, Britney Spears, the tent poles.
Well, have you seen the Britney Spears machine?
No, I have not.
It's like getting in the Animus now. Like you get into this like chair like this and you look up and it's like this full body weird ass thing that curves around the back of you. And you look at it and Britney dances and does stuff. Shows things.
It's the actual. What's funny is too. It's the actual Britney. She's just behind glass. And
I heard
you
she
put
was
a
in
quarter
Vegas,
in.
yeah.
And goes, oh baby, baby, how was I supposed? Oh God.
So I just play those kind of machines. I wish I understood roulette better. You know what I mean? Like I always think it'd be cool, like, to walk in every time I go to Vegas, maybe, and I have done it 0 times, but every time I go to Vegas, it'd be cool to walk in and be like $100 on black for one thing, and then whatever happens, just walk away. But I can't part with $100 that easily. I did when I was maybe it was PSX, if that makes sense. I can't remember the timing anymore. But we were there for Vegas one time when it was a Mizzou game, and I went and bet on Mizzou, and they're like, "Do you want them to cover the spread?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what that means." I'm like, just straight up, like, "You want them straight?" They're like, "All right, fucking." I lost all my money on that, of course.
I'm kind of with you, right? Where like, first off, I'm surprised, Colin, that you don't know more about blackjack, because there is a tremendous amount of strategy and like just understanding. It's a pretty deep game when you get into it.
It's shockingly deep. I had no idea.
It all changes depending on how many people are at the table and what the dealer's doing and all
and how many decks you're playing with,
how many
or whatever.
decks you're playing with.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Really
but I can honestly say that I'm the world's worst gambler.
Oh yeah.
I'm the guy that will lose all of his money, but for some odd reason, I take everyone else's bad luck. So if you gamble with me, you'll win. I will lose. So like my friends love going to Vegas with me because they're like, let's go. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. And they're like, we'll buy you drinks for the rest of the trip, but just let's go. And I'll drop like $500 and they'll be up like 2,000. It'll be ridiculous. I just don't, you have to have a killer instinct to be a gambler, like an actual gambler. To go and gamble and have fun, you're like, okay, there's a difference between saying I'm going to pull out $200 and if I lose $200, not a big deal, and saying I'm going to double my bet every single hand until I win, and then go back down to zero and do that again. Like I have friends that do that. They come with like $5,000 to $10,000 and bet $100, lose $200, lose $300, like $400, lose $800, win. Great, I'm back and I'm up, And they do crazy shit like that where you're like, how long are you going to be up for? Like, do I have to come pull you away? Is there like a rule that we have to institute here where I come pull you away after a certain point? And they're like, no, this is fun. But I've seen those same friends come back from Vegas really, really destroyed because they lost all their money. And that happens more often than not. Like I had a good buddy of mine that used to, like, I'd be like, where'd you go this weekend? He's like, nowhere. I'm like, did you fucking drive to Vegas? And he's like, yeah, I had to gamble. And that's to me where it becomes dangerous, is that I obviously have a pretty highly addictive personality, right?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I love coffee, love cigarettes, love heroin. Just can't get enough of the opiates.
So we're switching it over to heroin. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be cocaine. Yeah, I didn't tell you. It's cocaine's too expensive now.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with the H.
I gotcha.
No, but the cigarettes were a huge problem for me, and as was food. And so the idea of gambling to me is scary, because I don't like the idea of becoming addicted to something like that, because that can actually ruin your life. Not that cigarettes can't ruin your life; they can end your life, but it's a much slower demise, right? Like you can smoke till you're well into your 70s, 80s, and still be okay, and then drop dead of a heart attack. But at least you've had all that time. Whereas gambling, I could probably whittle through what I've managed to save up to this point in a night if I wanted to.
Oh, sure.
Like easily.
One hand.
And to Colin's earlier point, these casinos don't make it hard for you. They don't give a fuck if you're drunk or not. They don't care if you've got a mortgage or your house.
They don't give a fuck. And that's great. I mean, that's kind of like what...
It's not great. It's completely insidious and it's horrible.
But that's what Vegas is, right? Like that's kind of what I've come to terms with, is like Vegas will just eat you alive if you let it. That's just the way it is.
Every single time I go to Vegas, these feel alive. I go home.
It's all about personal responsibility. So I did feel bad for that one girl, because I was just like, I didn't know her at all, but I almost wanted to be like, you should not do this. Like, what are you doing? Like you don't even know what you're playing. You don't even know what you're doing. Like, but who am I to say that's where she's a grown person. She can do that herself. It's just, yeah, like the big rule is if you don't play big, you can't lose big or win big. So like, I'm fine in that space. Like if I lose $300 over a weekend, it's like really not a big deal. You know, like it's really not. So especially compared to like the stories you're telling, I know people that have those same stories.
Yeah, it's bad.
That like they're like you cannot. It's not even worth gambling if you're not gambling $100 to $200 at a hand. You know, or $300 in a hand. It's just not worth it. You know, because you're just gonna stay in the same space over and over again. If you win $15 at a blackjack table and you win another $15, you're up $30. You know, like
right.
If you put $300 down, you're up $300, and then you pay that again, you're up $600. And it's like, and I'm like, I get it, I understand that, and that is true. And if you play like that, where you're like the war of escalation that you're talking about, it's actually maybe not a terrible way to play if you have the money, because like you probably can walk away even if you're smart, or even up if you're smart. If you just keep playing those big hands, you will eventually probably win.
Right.
Especially if you're playing something like roulette or something, you know, craps or something like that. But like, I don't know. I understood it for the first time. I enjoyed it, and not for the first time. I enjoyed it when we went in December actually too. But this was the first time where I was like, she's trying, like, I'm asking questions, I'm observing, I'm talking to the pit boss, I'm like asking like, why can't I have my phone on the table? What are you doing when you put the cards in that little mirror thing? You know, like what are you like? Cards. Yeah, like, and I'm like, so, and I'm like, okay, so you're seeing if you have 21 right off the bat. I'm like, so do you know what you're playing with if you do that? Like every time it's like, no, you only see an icon on the card that tells you have it. I don't know what I'm playing with at all. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. You know, why you should blow smoke behind you instead of up when you're smoking at a table, like why you should
blow behind you.
Like I think it has to. I think it.
Cameras?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the cameras and all those kinds of things and all that kind of stuff. Like why they're like very carefully spreading money across the table and like saying it out loud when they're like giving you like chips and all stuff. I'm like, this is quite
yeah, but
fascinating.
All that stuff
stuff.
terrifies me, right? There's a reason behind all that. It's because people try to cheat and they get like dragged into the back room and their legs broken. Like Vegas is a seriously fucked up town where anything really is possible, and probably shouldn't be, because left to our own devices, human beings are idiots. We're all dumb and we all do stupid shit when there's no rules, and Vegas is a place where there's pretty much no rules. But having said that, I've dropped way more money on partying in Vegas than I have ever gambling.
Oh yeah, me too. Just staying and eating there is way more expensive than
gambling. You
can
go to a bar or a club and get bottle service and spend $1,000 like just to get the table, you know. So I'm not saying, you know, if you want to go drop $200 on a table, what you're talking about is an experience, and you had
That's exactly what I'm
experience. You weren't gambling though.
No, neither of us were really gambling the way you gamble.
Were just having
there.
a fun time, a good experience. And to be honest, if you had drunk in a bar for 4 hours, you just probably spent more than $200.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I'm thankful to her for introducing me to that, but I'm also really super kind of fascinated about it. I mean, like for the first time, it was the first vacation I had gone on in a long time, the first place where I went where I'm like, I don't really want to leave in like a really long time. Like where I'm like usually like when we go away on trips for work or where we go, even when I go on some vacations, I'm like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Like I want to go back home and just be in my element. And this was a time where I'm like, I could stay here like another week.
Yeah,
that's the funniest thing about this is that you Colin Moriarty is happy that he spent $300 for a social experience meeting random people.
Yeah,
outside of his home.
Holy shit!
I don't know who you are.
Something.
Have you checked to make sure it's still our Colin? Did you do a DNA swab?
It's just those people didn't know him. They didn't want to talk to him about Vita, so that was fine.
Oh, fair enough.
That was. I think this has to do with what we were talking about before with like we were like the experience of like dating someone that understands you, at least changes the dynamic of your life a little bit for the better. Like
she's really brought you out of your. What's the term of
shell?
Shell, thank you. I was gonna say skin.
You got all the way there. She's pulled you out of your skin.
She has though. I mean, like, you know, granted, I don't think you're gonna be a world traveler anytime soon, but the fact that you're able to go on a trip like that, enjoy Vegas, you know, be at peace with that whole experience and actually enjoy yourself.
It was awesome.
It's awesome.
But
that's what it's about.
It was.
Right?
We were at the pool for hours during the day, and then we like go get dinner, and then we go to the casinos. I mean, this is fucking awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
I was just laying there writing and reading at the pool, observing. That's where I came up with the idea for the new thing I'm writing, another new thing I'm writing, which I'm super excited about. And like, you know, I don't know, it was just a nice experience. So I wanted to share with you guys, see if you guys have any anecdotes as well.
Tim, did you say anything about gambling?
No. I was 8 years old.
Pure one.
It was like a freaking weird little festival thing. It was kind of like one of those Chuck E. Cheese situations where there's like all the like arcade games with tickets and stuff. But then there was also one that for some reason the little kids play that was a pachinko machine type thing where like the little ball would fall. And if it fell, you could win money from it. And I remember playing to get the tickets. There was a bunch of James Bond trading cards. I was 8 and I wanted them really bad. And I kept getting money, using the tokens, trying to figure out, you know, walking around with Kevin, trying to figure out which which game gave us the most tickets for the least amount of tokens we were using, whatever. Like it's the thing with the lights that go around. You have to stop it when it's in the lights. Everyone knows that. Do that a whole bunch of times and get the tickets. But then I would like, all right, I'd be like, all right, cool. We don't have enough tickets or enough tokens to get enough tickets to get the James Bond things. But instead of using this dollar to do this, let's do the dollar to get the pachinko thing to win more dollars. And it became this whole thing of like getting more money to fund more tokens, to get more tickets, to get these James Bond things. And somewhere along the way, I'm like, how much would it cost to just buy James Bond cards?
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
I stopped there.
That
And
was
from
the
then on, I'm like, I'm not gambling. This is dumb. There's better ways to make money. And that's why one day, when I have time to look into stocks, I'm going to be a master of stocks. But until then, I'm going to allow Kevin to do that for me.
Stocks is gambling, though.
No, I know. But that's the thing, though. Is like, I'm not going to do it unless I know what I'm doing. Like, I want to commit to it. It's like what you're talking about. Like, there's a right way to do it. I'm not going to commit to learning how to gamble and be a blackjack master. Nah, but a stock master? Mark my words, one day. Me and Kevin are going to take over the goddamn world.
Tim, you know what you should never gamble on?
What, Greg?
A good shave.
Damn.
This topic was brought to you by Harry's. Stop compromising on your shave and get started with Harry's. For far too long, you've either paid too much for a comfortable shave, or you've settled for a low-priced but low-quality razor. Harry's offers something you've never had before: a great shave at a fair price. Harry's makes its own high-quality razors, cuts out the middleman, and ships them directly to you for half the price of the leading brand. Good shave, good price. It's simple. Get the best of both worlds with Harry's. Harry's is the only shaving company that has amazing quality and low prices. Harry's makes just one razor with all you need for a close, comfortable shave. 5 German-crafted blades, flex hinge, and a lubricating strip. Quality guaranteed, a full refund if you're not happy. Tim, tell me about it.
So here's the deal, Greg.
Yeah.
Recently, we were at E3.
Right.
Shaved. I look damn good.
You did.
Then we went to RTX. VidCon was in between. All of those. I look damn good. I was shaved and good. Right now, you see this?
Yeah. Don't look damn good.
I need to get harried.
You
That's what I need. That's what I need to do. Because we're about to go to Comic-Con and ooh.
You gotta
When
look
is
good.
Comic-Con next week?
Next week, yeah.
I'm in that weird place where it's like I want to get a haircut, but then I need to look good for other stuff that we're doing after. Oh, Let's Play Live Chicago. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we can
now.
talk about that now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I need to figure this out. But the one thing I do know is I'm going to shave
Okay.
this week and next week and the week after that, because you can always shave and look good. Thanks to Harry's.
Harry's Starter Set called the Truman is a great option for new customers. An amazing deal. For just $15, you get a razor handle, moisturizing shave cream, and 3 of Harry's 5-blade German-engineered razors. Plus, there's a special offer for fans of the show. Harry's will give you $5 off your first purchase with the promo code KINDAFUNNY, all one word. Go to harrys.com right now and look for the Truman Set. That's Harry's, HARRYS.com. Enter the code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to get $5 off and help support this show. Stop compromising. Give Harry's a try today. There is a link in the description below.